Hello YouTube, Dave here again. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Starfinder Critical Hit Deck card set. So this is one of the latest releases for the Starfinder role-playing game. At the time I'm recording this, I think that this was released officially just like within the last couple of days. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I actually have a Starfinder game on the weekend that's following the time that I'm recording this as well, so I hope I get a chance to make use of this in that game. So, full disclosure, this product was sent to me by Paizo Publishing for the purposes of doing a review and sort of getting information out on it. However, this is not a paid advertisement in any way, shape, or form. Paizo is not telling me what to say in the video or fishing for, false reviews, basically. They want actual, genuine thoughts, and they want real opinions, and hopefully I'll be able to satisfy that for them. So let's just go ahead and give this a look. So it says it's got 53 critical hit cards for the Starfinder role-playing game, and on the back it just says the critical hit deck. Do you want your critical hits to deal more than double damage? Want your arc rifle to have options beyond arcing to a new target? Think setting things on fire should be the beginning of what a flamethrower can do, rather than the only possibility. After you score a critical hit, draw a card and apply one of the 4 different effects based on attack type. These cards are designed to work with the Starfinder role-playing game and can be used by players and GMs alike. Even if your weapon already has critical hit effects, firing off the perfect shot has never been more fun. And this is $10.99 US, if I can get it to focus there. There's a little bit of glare, unfortunately. So $10.99 US. I think this is around $12.99 or $13.99 Canadian, which isn't, necessarily a terrible price. So we'll just go ahead and open this right up. I already kind of pre-popped the top of the deck here just to make it a little bit easier. Now it looks like they also have the ability to tear this hang tab off. It is perforated, so it can be torn. I'm not going to do that unless I, absolutely can't avoid it. But here we go. So we have the deck here. On the back we have the open gaming license, and we have the rules for using them. So let's just open this up, actually, because with the glare from the overhead light, it's going to make it very difficult to try to read this on camera. Not that this isn't going to be a little bit glary also, but alright, so we got the rules and additional rules. So the rules for player use: whenever a player scores a critical hit, that player draws 1 card from the deck and applies the effect appropriate to that attack's type, energy, kinetic, or spell. Or may choose the extreme blow effect if it matches the attack's damage type: acid, bludgeoning, cold, electricity, fire, piercing, slashing, sonic, or the attack type of melee, ranged, or spell. For GM use, the GM can use one of 3 different methods to determine when they draw cards to modify critical hits. Since the effects on each card can be deadly against player characters, we recommend using the first option. So the first option is the GM draws a card only when a major villain, creature, or NPC scores a critical hit. Okay, I can understand that. Option 2 is using the deck becomes an option that can be given to NPCs as a special ability. The GM only draws cards for NPCs with that ability. That's also not necessarily bad. And option 3 would probably be the more lethal one. Option 3, the GM draws a card when any creature or NPC scores a critical hit. So additional rules. So a critical hit deals double damage to the target unless the entry says it deals normal damage or triple damage. Any effect listed as a crit effect is considered a critical hit effect. If your attack already has a critical hit effect, you may apply its normal critical hit effect or the card effect, but not both, which was sort of, I guess, my first question that I had, but it's good that, yeah, you do one or the other. If an effect is listed as a bonus effect applied in addition to the attack's other critical hit effects, which again makes sense if it's in addition. Effects that scale by level use a weapon's item level, a spellcaster's level, or a character's level for supernatural effects as the critical hit effects level. Round fractions up. Ooh, okay. Typically you round down for most things in these types of role-playing games, but in this case you actually round up. If the effect is based on a spell. This critical hit effect level is also used as the caster level for any calculations not defined on the card. The save DC for an effect inflicted by a PC is 1/2 the character level plus the key ability score, so not the modifier. So if your key ability score was strength and you're a 4th level character and you had an 18 strength, the DC would be 11, because your 4th level, half of that is 2 plus the 8. Or sorry, that would be 20. The effect would be 20. I don't know why I rounded the ability score down. Yeah, so if you had an 18 strength or an 18 for a key ability and you're a 4th level character, the DC would be 20. For NPCs, the DC is determined by the NPC's ability DC for its array and level. An effect that uses the name of an existing critical hit effect, as found in the Starfinder core rulebook, follows the rules for that critical hit effect. An effect that lasts until healed ends once the recipient regains hit point damage equal to, or regains hit points equal to the damage dealt by the attack. Okay. So that's pretty neat there. Whoops. And we just have the Open Gaming license that we have here. And we're not going to look at all of the cards. I'm just wondering if at any point these repeat. And we'll actually look at some of these here in just a moment, but again, I just want to see. So it doesn't look like, and I can certainly go through in the description and just correct myself if need be or pin a combat, but it doesn't look like any of the effects are duplicated. So that's actually really cool. So it looks like each of the 53 cards have their own abilities, like have their own separate sets of critical effects. So that's actually really cool. All right, so let's go ahead and just have a look here. All right, so we'll just look at the first one. We've got, let's just go back to the top here. Okay, so it looks like, so the 4 different types of damage or critical effects that you can have are energy, kinetic, or spell or extreme blow. So we've got energy, just denoted by that little blast sort of look there. What do we call it? Kinetic, which is denoted by the sword. Then we have spell, which has a little lightning bolt there. And then you have the extreme blow, which is at the bottom here. So looking at these ones, the first one that we have is the energy base, or the energy effect. That says degloved, so it deals normal damage. So this would be a situation where you don't do the normal double for the critical hit, but you would get whatever your weapon's critical hit effect is, plus this bonus effect. So this is not one where you would have to choose between the two. You would get both in this situation because it's a bonus and not just a critical effect, which we see down here. So the bonus effect is the target drops any item in a randomly determined hand, and takes a -4 penalty to actions with that hand until healed. So again, until healed is they have to restore all the hit points lost equal to the amount of damage done by this attack. So if you deal, say, 8 points of damage with this attack and you basically disarm them, they would suffer a -4 penalty on anything that they use that hand with until they get all 8 of those points back. So that's pretty cool. Then for the kinetic one, we have slam to the brain pan. This is a critical effect, so it would replace, or you would choose between this or the effect of the weapon itself, but you don't get both. So the effect here is the target takes a -5 penalty to intelligence checks and intelligence-based skill checks until healed. So you would get the normal double damage for the critical, because it doesn't say normal damage, plus you could take this effect, and basically you wallop them on the side of the head, which is kind of cool. Then you have blood magic, so it's a critical effect again, and you bleed 1d4 for every 2 levels, and a minimum of 1 bleed. That's what And then we have, for the extreme effect, this is an acid ability, so if you attack with the weapon that does acid-based damage, you get face melt. So you corrode, so 1d6 for every 4 levels, and the target takes a -5 penalty to perception checks, and its foes have partial cover until the target is healed, and that's a bonus effect, so you would get your regular critical effect if you had one for your weapon, plus the double damage, so that could be pretty nasty. And just on the backs of the cards, we have the Skittermander holding a d20, and that's just awesome. So they're not going to be individually illustrated like we had with the conditions deck, but when you're looking at this, I mean, these are just tons of, possible abilities that you can do. I mean, there's 53 cards, and each card has, 4 things on there, and again, that doesn't look like any of them actually duplicate. So, I mean, that's over, basically, over 200 potential critical effects that you can do. So let's just have a look at another one here. Alright, so we have our energy effect, is called Lingering Energy. It deals normal damage, but the target also takes half damage each round for 1d4 additional rounds. So if you did, again, we'll use 8 as our example, so if you did 8 points of damage, you roll a d4, and whatever number you roll for that many number of rounds, they would take 4 points of damage each round. Then the kinetic effect is called Knocked Cross-Eyed, and again, I just love some of these names that they have for some of their abilities. The target takes a -2 penalty to all intelligence, wisdom, charisma-based checks until ability checks and skill checks until they're healed. Dispelling Aura, so if it's with a spell, the target is subject to a targeted dispel effect of dispelled magic. And then the extreme effect is Extreme Bludgeoning, called Face Crush. So we had Face Melt, and now we have Face Crush. So the target takes a -5 penalty to charisma checks and charisma-based skill checks until healed. I just love the names, and one of the things that I'll say about Paizo in general, but I've noticed with some of these Starfinder things, is they're not afraid to have a sense of humor, which I think is really important. And again, just some of these names are really, really cool. So I'm not going to read all the abilities here, but like this next card, the energy effect is called Surprise Opening. The kinetic is called Infection, which contracts Filth Fever, which is my favorite kind of fever. The magic one is Hurt So Good, that the target is subjected to Charm Monster. And then you have Combustion. So we have the next one, just like Armor Downgrade, Spin Around, Life Leech, and Dolorous Wound? Dolorous Wound? Probably pronouncing that wrong. And again, you just have like all kinds of, again, really cool abilities. The ones that I wanted to get to here is for the energy one is called Boom Headshot. So that's just awesome. The kinetic one on another card here says, you shot my toe. The target is knocked prone. And, here we go. So this card here, it's Extreme Critical Effect, Extreme Melee, Roundhouse. So that's just really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, there's tons of great stuff on here. So I will definitely be using this for my Starfinder game. And because these are not double-sided, and because you're meant to shuffle these, I will be putting these inside of card sleeves. And we'll probably not use them in the original box, just because it's not going to hold them all sleeved up. But I definitely plan on making use of this during my next Starfinder game, which will be just in a few days, actually. So what I'll do is, in that video, I will let you guys know sort of how it went, and basically, if the cards were used, how they were received, and so I will definitely follow this up. But at this point in time, I think these are absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait to give these a try, and I think that overall these are going to go over pretty well with my group. I think that they're going to have a lot of fun with these cards. So I'll be putting those to work for sure. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I look forward to hearing any of your feedback, but right now I am pretty much sold on these. I think that these are going to be just awesome. I also know that I believe in the new year there's going to be a Critical Fumbles deck coming out as well, so I will definitely be getting that as well. And I will also definitely be using that in my games because, again, it's just too fun not to. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Take care.